you for joining me today on Coffee with Jesus Outreach. I have a story that I want to tell, and I've entitled it The Tap Tap Parable, a true story of doors, wishes, and holy exit strategies. It may or may not be true, but it definitely has a great object lesson, and I hope that you get something out of it today. And if you do, leave a message with me that says, hey, I really enjoyed it. I would love to hear from you. Once upon a mildly aggravating Sunday, in the land where boundaries were more suggestion than rules, lived a woman named Mary. She was not just a property manager, she was the resident wizard of Wi-Fi issues, the queen of maintenance requests, and a reluctant recipient of weekend door knocks. But what people often missed about Mary was she was also a dreamer, a woman of deep faith and even deeper desire to serve God with her life, start her own business, and maybe, just maybe, live somewhere where people didn't treat her like the neighborhood concierge. Every Sunday, Mary claimed her sacred hours of freedom like a warrior seizing treasure. That Sunday, she came home around 4 p.m., groceries in hands, hope in her heart, and joyfully she locked the door behind her when she came in. Click, as she said, "Do not disturb, even if you're friendly." And then came the tap, 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 tap. It wasn't an aggressive knock. Oh no. This was worse. It was one of those rhythmic, cheerful taps. The kind of knock that you would give a friend when you're sure that they'd be happy to see you. The kind of tap that carried the unspoken assumption of welcome. Mary froze, peeked through the windows. Nope, that resident was not coming in. And Mary, with her Holy Spirit backbone, said, "Not today, friend, not today." She didn't answer. She floated away like a boundary-setting butterfly. But even though she didn't answer the door, the knock had already snuck into her mind, and frustration followed her around like an uninvited guest, like a cockroach. Lord, she prayed, this is why I want to leave. This is why I want to move and get a new job. This is why I want to be where you want me to be, and I believe it's not here. I believe you open doors even if the light switch looks turned off. But right now, all I hear is tap, tap, tap. And that's when God showed her something. In her spirit, Mary saw herself standing in a hallway full of doors. Some were locked, some had signs on them that said not yet. One had a do not disturb sign on it and a mirror where the doorknob should have been. God stood beside her and said, "You're waiting on me to open up the door, but I'm waiting on you to walk up to it." She blinked, but it looks like a mirror. God nodded, because you keep looking at yourself instead of seeing what's behind it. She reached for the mirror, and it turned into a hallway of possibilities. There were sketches of her business ideas, a kayak parked by a dream car, a quiet office not attached to tenants with boundary issues. There was peace, vision, and purpose. And Mary knew it wasn't just about leaving a job. It was about walking toward her calling, not in frustration, but in faith-filled action. Because here is the truth. If you're not moving, you're not stepping into breakthrough. You're just making wishes. God doesn't hand out change like magic fairy dust. He gives nudges, wisdom. He gives you open-ended questions that require brave answers. And sometimes, yes, he uses door knocks to remind you what you don't want. So you'll start moving toward what you do want. So now, Mary's on a mission. She's still working, still dreaming, but she's also building. She knows that when the light seems off, it doesn't mean that God is absent. It might just mean you're holding the switch. And when the tap tap returns, she smiles, sips her coffee, and whispers again, "Nope," because now she knows her real door is waiting. And this time, she's walking toward it with keys in one hand, faith in her heart.